Hello and welcome back to Karlova Design channel. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the cylinder pencil case, which is not that simple as it looks. It took me quite a while to figure out how to make it look so nice. It's been trial and error, and I'm gonna show you part of the process in this video as well. You will find the link to the pattern in the video description, and also don't forget about the sale on karlovadesign.com. You can buy all the patterns with 50% discount. Not to mention that I also have some free patterns available, as well as many other interesting things like basic pattern design course or nice leatherworking t-shirts. Let's get started. This is the first version of this pattern, which is basically the same as the final version, except the inlay or the lip or whatever you call the inner part that goes underneath the cap. So I've stitched it up, and then I found out it really doesn't work quite well. It didn't have enough structure. The bottom part of the case was a little bit soft and flimsy, and also it had kind of mushroomy ends, which was not really nice looking. In other words, it sucked. I didn't like it, and I had to do something about it. Actually, I had to disassemble the whole thing twice before I was satisfied and ready to offer the pattern to humans. But finally, I did figure out how to make this whole thing work perfectly. So this is the final version of the pattern. As you can see, the inner part is absolutely different from the previous one. The leather for the outer part of the case should be 1.2 to 1.5 millimeters, which is about 3 to 4 ounces, and it should be stiff, as well as the leather for the inlay or the lip, which should be 5 to 6 ounces. Could be actually a little thicker, but don't go overboard with it. It does not necessarily have to be all vegetable tanned, but this is what I'm using for this project. But it's very important to follow the thickness and stiffness requirements for this project, because if you take too thick of a leather for the outer case, it simply will not close. So here's the trick. There's different stitch lengths on the inlay and on the outer case in the same seam. For the outer case, I'm using 5.2 millimeter stitching irons, which is 5 stitches per inch. But this same stitching line on the inlay has stitch length of 4.84 millimeters, and I can get away with 5 millimeter stitching irons, or you can actually make the holes one by one. This is how you make these smaller stitches with 5 millimeters. It doesn't quite fit exactly, but you still can get away with it. Now, what on earth is 5 stitches per inch or 5 SPI? These are craft tool stitching irons that I bought at Tandy Leather, and they mark them as 3 millimeters as they measure the gap. You can watch another video on my channel, which is called Workshop Essentials, where I show you my tools. Now let's stitch inlay to the main body, and the main body is the piece that has stitching holes all around the perimeter. Pay attention which way it goes the way that has no holes. Let's make those little darts on both caps. Just make small cuts in between the stitching holes, but don't go all the way to the stitching line. And then just cut each of them small corners. Just have a look at it, how I'm doing it, because I don't seem to be very good at explaining it verbally. This is an anti-mushroom measure. Both caps are absolutely the same, so stitch one of them to the main body and the other one will be the cap of the cap, or how do you call that? And now let's stitch those few holes. I got 2, you got 3 on this inner end of the inlay. This is done so it doesn't curl one layer upon another, or I mean it will not hold the shape unless you do these stitches. It's not very comfortable to stitch them, but it's a necessary measure. And now let's stitch the side. I'm gonna use baseball stitch on the body, and then on the rest of the inlay I will be using parallel stitches. It is not really strict because you can use any kind of stitch that is suitable for this kind of seam. It could be baseball, could be parallel, could be cross stitches, whatever you want. I'm gonna show you how I made the whole thing with parallel stitches. That was the first variant. And for the upper part of the body with the inlay, the baseball stitch is not very good option because it doesn't hold too tight. So I would recommend either parallel or cross stitches. And as I mentioned earlier, it also looks quite good if you make the whole thing with parallel stitches as well. Now let's stitch the cap. It's done absolutely the same way as the bottom part, and this video looks a little different because my camera had died and I used my phone to film this part. And voila, our cylinder pencil case is ready. Now we're gonna put some pencils in it to make sure it works as intended. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss the next amazing project I'm gonna come up with. And I am pretty sure you will enjoy making this little case. Also, it has a certain wow effect on people who get their hands on it. And the link to the pattern is in the video description. Thanks for watching and see you soon!